MBA program with the theme on When Nothing is Normal, Managing in Uncertainty. I wish you, all of you here are safe and healthy, as those are the two most important things for us at this moment. My name is Selvi Tanggara. I am an MBA student at IPMI International Business School, and I am the moderator for this evening. This evening, we have IPMI Executive Director, Professor Aman Wirakarta Kusuma. Good evening, Prof. Aman.
Good evening.
Yes, very good, Prof. We also have Ibu Firdaus Basbet this evening. Good evening, Ibu Firda.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session.
And we also have three industry speakers who are also IPMI students and alumni. And the three of them came from different industries. We have here Bapak Wasudewan, MBA, the CEO at Auto.com. Good evening, Pak Wasudewan.
Good evening, Bu Selvi, and good evening to all participants.
We also have Ibu Indrijati Rahayoe, the Chief HR Officer at Prudential Life Assurance. Good evening, Ibu Indri.
Good evening, Ibu Selvi, and good evening, everyone. Stay healthy and happy.
And also Bapak Izzul Waro, the Director of Service and Development at PT Transjakarta. Good evening, Pak Izzul.
Good evening, Bu Selvi. Good evening, Prof. Aman. And good evening to all of you guys.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, before we start, there are some house rules that we need to follow during this webinar. So I would like to ask IPMI colleagues to share the house rules. Yeah, so there are 5 house rules that we need to follow. The first one is this session is recorded. The second one is your audio will be muted during the webinar. And we also encourage you not to post or write offensive or insensitive content throughout the webinar. And we're gonna play the Indonesia Raya, the Indonesian national anthem, and we would like to invite you to stand at attention or sit in upright position. And the last one, at the photo session, please kindly turn on your video. Thank you. So I hope that all of us can follow the rules until end of this webinar. So before I go to Professor Aman Wirakarta Kusuma for welcoming remark, I would like to invite all of us to sing the Indonesian national anthem. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for participating. Now I would like to invite Professor Aman Wirakarta Kusuma to give us the welcome speech. Professor Aman, the time is yours.
Thank you. Could you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Prof, we can
Yes,
hear
Prof.
you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Selvi. Good evening. Welcome to IPMI webinars. We call it IPMI webinars. To all faculty members, the head of program study, Dr. Firda, our alumni, our MBA and BBA students, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very special webinar and it's very unique. And I would like to again recognize the presence of our speakers and moderator. And we are very proud of having Mr. Izzul Waro, which is our IPMI MBA student, but he's currently also as the Director of Service and Development of PT Transjakarta. We recognize the presence of Ms. Indrijati Rahayoe, the Chief HR Officer from the Prudential Assurance Indonesia, also IPMI MBA student, and Pak Wasudewan, the CEO of OTO.com, our IPMI MBA alumni, and of course, the very important moderator tonight, Ms. Selvi Tanggara, the Chief Representative of Monash, Indonesia, Representative Office, which also an IPMI MBA student. So we are very pleased to have them to share with us related to the topics and the issue they would like to discuss for tonight's webinar. As you know that this event is so unique and special. Why? Because the topic is not only important, but also relevant to the current situation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So the topic is nothing is normal. Sometimes we are thinking about not normal, it's become abnormal, but actually it's not abnormal. This is becoming a new normal. It's becoming normal for us because we have to change completely our practices, our attitude, our mindset, and how that we can again to cope with this problem and find probably a different opportunity and capitalize the opportunities. So when we are talking it is not normal, then we are facing toward a certain new condition, which I think every MBA student also learning about the VUCA. So for me, uncertainty is one of very critical for us to understand. But I think this phenomena is not only happen to Indonesia, to Jakarta, to our community, but it's happening around the world. The whole world is experiencing the same thing. So we don't have to become too pessimistic about this. Maybe this is the problem we have to face as a humanity and also as our effort to survive in facing the new pandemic that we have never been experiencing before. So how to manage it, how to survive with that. So with that probably premise, that we come to the idea of having this webinar, which again initiated and organized by our MBA student and alumni, to reflect to us that we are not only concerned, but we do have some information, some experience, some ideas, some thought how we can cope this problem and move forward in facing this very big problem. So uncertainty is going to affect our mindset. It's also affecting our current practices, our tradition. Later on also will affecting probably no need for regulation and how to manage those changes in a completely different ecosystem. In some areas, generating ideas and creativity, we have faced when we had the webinar last year, we invite one of the very big bakery industry in Indonesia. I name it PT Sari Roti. And the company said that the pandemic is a blessing for them when we witness and observe the practices for them to sell the products using the tricycle and using the, there is a jingles, so we can hear it. Oh, this is the marketing and selling of that product. But in this pandemic situation, is becoming the new idea. So instead of decreasing the production, they have to increase production. The demand is very high because people really request for the home delivery, and they are used to this service directly to the consumers. So in addition to that, then they have to increase the line of production. They're also hiring the new division. They are hiring new people. So for them, this is a new opportunity. It's a new things that becoming is a good prospect of business. Another example also, we know that everybody now cannot, especially now it's becoming another restriction. You cannot just go out as easy as possible, So you may request the service and the support from the Go Food, Gojek. So those kind of thing is becoming the new business. In the e-commerce, everything has to be also done through electronic commercial. A lot of new opportunities coming from the health industry, like a lot of equipments now, like Genos from University of Gajah Mada. So you produce our own products, all the equipment for protocols for health, transportation services, restaurant, entertainment, financial technology, information technology industry. So a lot of opportunity coming because of this pandemic, including within our own educational environment. Then we have to adopt and to practice the implementation of online learning, because before we don't really know how to conduct the whole online learning, but now we are in a good hand how to conduct those programs properly. So again, to repeat that, this problem actually is becoming setting up the new norms, the new normals, and then opening the new windows of opportunities. But now how that we can manage it, how that we can capitalize this opportunity. So once again, I would like to thank you to all the speakers and also the moderator for having these webinars. So I'm sure that this is not only important within our own family, but also will be meaningful, useful for the audience or the participant coming from the public sectors or the probably students or practitioners. So please enjoy and follow the webinar until finish. So thank you very much, Ms. Selvi Tanggara.
Thank you very much, Professor Aman. So yes, Professor Aman said that the pandemic now has been a year actually, and has brought ourselves and business into uncertainty. Many businesses had restructuring, and actually some of them closed down. Companies need to adjust their company policy to support staffs working from home, and employees like us also need to adjust our life between work and also family matters. There was no manual or instruction book given to us to face this challenge, and it forced business leaders to think out of the box and perhaps to implement what we have learned during our MBA study. Now I want to invite our first speaker, Bapak Wasudewan, the CEO for New Auto Business at auto.com, to share his business strategy on how to manage in uncertainty in the automotive business. Mr. Wasudewan is an IPMI alumni, and he obtained his Bachelor of Engineering in Agribusiness from Universitas Sumatera Utara. His expertise is mostly in business development and strategic management, with his previous role as the Chief Operating Officer at Mitra Pinastika Mustika. So, Bapak Wasudewan, the time is yours.
Thank you for that. For the time, Bu Selvi. I hope everyone can see my slide now. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Also, I want to highlight what Prof. Aman just mentioned, that with the opening, I really agree with a few points mentioned by Prof. Aman, that was especially for us this kind of pandemic, or not only pandemic, because I also will highlight a few cases before the pandemic, which link with the uncertainty. For us, is a blast. Yeah, so I do agree on this kind of situation that we need to think out of the box, and then I will highlight some of the things here. Okay, let me start. When nothing is normal, how do we managing in an uncertainty? So currently, I manage two websites in Indonesia which focus on the automotive portal, auto.com and Carvaganza. Soon we will have the third one, maybe in the next 2 months' time. Okay. So when we talk about the uncertainty, right? So the biggest challenge for this this era is no playbook for the future. Yeah, there are so many startups coming nowadays, and then it's quite difficult for them, for us to find which playbook that I can use for my business. So there is no playbook for future. That's the biggest challenge. Yeah, and then we'll see what kind of uncertainty that we have in the automotive industry and also in the our business scope. So when we talk about uncertainty, there are two things. The first one is the lack of information, and then the second one, the instability. So here you can see that this is the graph for the uncertainty happened in the world in the last almost 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. So we can see that when there is stock market crash, not only in Asia, but also in other part of the world. And then the dot-com bubble happened before 2000. And then also when the Lehman Brothers, the subprime mortgage happening in US on 2008. So all these crises, this will create uncertainty. Yeah. And then in the last 2 years, we see that there is a trade war between US and China. And then last year we have this coronavirus. Yeah. So every year we see another crisis is coming. So I think that now we are get used to with all this kind of crisis. Yeah. And then when we talk about the automotive industry, if you look at the picture in the left side, so this is the news before the COVID happened. So 2019 itself, the car sales is decreased compared to 2018. 2018 we can close almost 1.1 million new car sales. In 2019 we closed 1.040 new car sales. Yeah, this is based on Gaikindo report. And then last year we saw also there are 1-2 big players also shut down their factory. Yeah, because they see the sales is was decreasing in the last 2 years. So that's one of the decisions that they need to make. And then with all this uncertainty, right? Uncertainty. Now, how do we can build the business and then of course deliver the growth? So first thing first, when we talk about our business, right? About what we are trying to get. First, we need to know what are we building. So let's say we are building one company. How do we put our company in the ecosystem? So in the entire ecosystem, what are the roles that we want to play? And then based on what already exists in the market, and then what will be the future trend. So for us, I put here from 2016 to 2019, I call it a first horizon. So if you look at in the automotive industry, so this is what we call the infinity loop. When people buy the new car, after the next day, the new car become the used car. And then it's a matter of time. that he or she will sell the car and then buy another car. So every new car will become the used car. So let's say for people, when people want to buy a new car, so there are 4 steps. They want to do the discovery, and then they will submit their data to get the discount information and then some other information. And then they will do the transaction, and then of course they will do the finance. 70% Indonesian buying car using finance. So this is the consumer behavior. So to cater this consumer behavior, then we build auto.com. So what we do? So we help the OEM in Indonesia, what we call the ATPM, agen pemegang merek, like Toyota, Tesla, Motor, Mitsubishi. They need to build their brand, and then they need to reach the right consumer. So then we provide some space, we provide videos to help them to increase the brand awareness, not only for the brand, also for certain models. And then they have like, some brand, they have like 10,000 sales dealer. So what they do with the sales dealer, they need to feeding them with the leads, the consumer data. Yeah, so they can invite to the showroom and then they can sell. And then of course, do the transaction and then finance, which they tie up with the banks and also multi-finance. So in the first horizon for the new car, we have built our business to make sure that we can help the OEM or the other RPM to do advertising and then generate leads. If we look at the other side, the used car, this is more complicated. So we don't want to put much time on this. So what we build, we become the third party which connect the consumer and then the finance company, and also help the dealers, the used car dealers. So that's the 3 things that we built in the first 2 years. That's what I call the first horizon. And then after 2019, going to when we entered last year, 2020, then we saw that the trend is not only to generate leads, to passing the leads to the APM, but they also need, can you help me to nurture the leads? Then we built another business unit, what we call the transaction business. So besides helping them for awareness, giving them the leads, now we are helping them to nurturing the leads. That's what we call the transaction business. And also we help them to, we help the other business like multi-finance and bank to get the customer, because we can help the customer to find the interest rate or some other option which can fit with their capacity. So this is the 2 things that we built in the new car, transaction and also the finance. And then when we look at the used car, again, after become the mediator between the consumer and also the multi-finance, then we built the classified, because we got 7 million visitors come to our website. So there is a huge need for people to promote their used car in the site. So that's why we built the classified business. And then also later we are thinking to do the inventory funding to help the dealer to get the inventory. Yeah, because some dealers, let's say in Mangga Dua, in Glodok, they have limitation to get more inventory. So this is what we call the second horizon. So we keep seeing what happened in the market and then how the consumer behavior changing. Yeah. So one thing that I keep repeating when I meet the OEM or the dealers or the banks, I told them that the consumer already shifting to online. So, but you are not really thinking to move online because you are still doing all the conventional things to do sales or to do branding. So that's something that we are doing in Indonesia. And then I would like to stop here because I will tell 2 framework that I'm using So I'm quite fortunate to meet Prof. Roy Sambar, Pak Manggi Habib, Pak Dewi Habib, Prof. Haris Tuisno, which helped me to think, come up with a framework. Yeah. So when we thinking about a business, building a new business model, and then try to compete with all the incumbent. So we need to come up with a framework. We need to come up with the design thinking. And then here I would like to highlight the Porter 5 forces for auto.com case. Yeah. So there are 5 forces here. The first one is the power of suppliers. So on our case, our suppliers is the technologists, the engineer, and also like the server and other things that the suppliers. We need to see how these suppliers can affect can impact our business. So do they have like a high impact to our business? So then we need to think some other things, how to make sure that we are not really depend on that suppliers. In case something happen, right? We need to have the backup plan. And then the second one, the threat of the new entry. On our case, we see that's quite low because we have our strength, which the engineer team, which they are very good, they are damn good in terms of building the SEO. And then it will take time. It takes years for people to build the SEO. It's not that easy. And then understanding the buyer behavior. So Auto.com, we are part of the Gionalsoft India. So we've been there for 14 years now. So we know because Indian market and Indonesia market, somehow it's quite similar. So that's why it's quite easy for us to replicate what we have done in India. And then the third one, trade of substitute. On our case, we saw that this is quite moderate. The RPM, they have the money, right? They can easily do the TV campaign. They can easily using the influencer right now, and then they can also work with e-commerce to sell their car. But we see that we have some strength which cannot replace by this conventional media. And then the power, the power of buyer. On this case, again, the APM. The APM is our biggest target here for the new auto business. And then for the secondary is the bank and also the second car dealership. So we see that they have budget. And then sometimes for the IPM, let's say for the Toyota Astra Motor, sometimes they have like centralized decision maker. So usually they will have yearly teams. And then that will come from Japan, which they need to execute in the country level. So on that case, sometimes it's quite difficult for them to align with their campaign because they already appoint some vendors to execute the campaign. But beside that, we also have a lot of things to tell them that what we can do because we have the customer in our website. Yeah, and then the last part is the competition, the referral. So if you look in Indonesia, currently there are so many automotive portals, but it's only auto who are really focused on the new auto business, which are focusing on helping the IPM. The others, this is like they are focusing on the marketplace for the used car because the genesis of the e-commerce is to sell your barang bekas, the used car or the secondary the secondary property. That's the genesis of the marketplace, right? So when we came to Indonesia last 5 years, then we start new auto because no one focusing on that, and then we say that this is a huge market. So then we build our website to get maximum of the opportunity. Then the second one, another analysis, Rahayoe. So to make sure that we can become the winner of the competition among the automotive portal and also compete with other traditional media. What we need to make sure that we need to come up what is our, we need to analyze our Rahayoe. What are the valuable things that we have, which our competitor or the media doesn't have, right? And then what are the real things that we can have, while other people that they don't have? And then something that is imitable, organized. So in here, we have the first mover advantage because we are the one in Indonesia who are focusing on the new auto business. Yeah. And then also we have the high quality team because some of the engineer team we are using from India, which already built the Indian market in 10 years before. And then it's when we came to Indonesia, 2016, we are the one who focusing on the new auto. Again, new auto means not only for the 4 wheels, but also for the 2 wheels. And then something that's quite difficult for them to imitate is the integrated solution provider. So I never position auto as the online media. No, we are more than that because we also can create event. We can also do like a video production. So we also can do like TV production because we also part of the MTech. So there are a lot of things that we can do. We are not, we don't want to limit ourselves only as a platform for digital, no. Yeah, because for consumer, for the OEM, for the dealers, they need more than digital. They need to sell, they need to do branding. Consumer need to get all the information. So we need to provide all that information. Yeah, and then organize. So when we build this, based on my experience, most of the startup, 30% of the startup failed because it's quite difficult for organize because again, there is no playbook. Yeah, but on our case, we already know how to build this from India. So then when we came here, there are certain things that we need to adjust. But on the big picture, it's quite similar. Yeah. So all these things, this will create the what we call the sustainable competitive advantage. So this is something that every company need to have. Once you have this, you can minimize the uncertainty. And then you cannot create all this value in one time. And then after that, you just wait. No, you need to see, and then you need to assess because the consumer behavior is changing. Yeah, we need to adapt, and then we need to make sure that we are aligned with what happened in the market. Then how to articulate all the value, all the portal 5 forces, and then some other framework in strategy and technical plan. So all the framework we can easily put, let's say, in the wall, and some others we can discuss, we can put in the meeting room, but we need to articulate. We need to articulate all the things, all the framework, and then to make sure that we come up with a good strategy and then also the technical plan. So when I say this, I'm trying to say we need to understanding more. How to do understanding more? We need to have the open mind, curiosity. What are the people doing? What are the consumer looking? What are the OEM doing? What are the players doing? And then consistently review. Yeah, build relation. For some big companies, sometimes when they reach certain level, then usually they become ignorant. Right? Then this is something that we are like to feel. So we need to get out, meet all the stakeholders. So our stakeholders is not only our client, not only our partner, but sometimes we forget that the most important stakeholder are also the government. Because we like to talk about disruption, right? Every day we talk about disruption. But there is one stakeholder which is quite important, which is government, because government will not let the disruption happen with the interest of the technologies. No, the government will allow the disruption happen for the interest of the citizen. So somehow we need to align with the government. And then convert all the anciency, the resistance into the productive energy. Yeah. So on our case, this is one of the case study that I would like highlight here. So on 2019, all the OEM, their sales dropped by 10%. Then we come up with this funnel, right? When we talk about the awareness, what are the output that we want to do to help them? And then after awareness, there is a consideration. And then after that, how do we build the operation to make sure that we can help them with the transaction, on this case, the sales. So this is something that we like to do not one time. Again, this is need to be consistent. And then everyone, this is not only part of the CEO job, but every head of department, also the employees, they need to make sure that they have the open mind, and also the agile, quite agile. Yeah, we cannot static. We need to be agile. And then what will happen in the next few years? Thing will happen, and then we need to make sure that we can comfortable with this. We need to make sure that we are being comfortably uncomfortable. Yeah, because again, disruption will happen, turbulence will happen. After COVID, we don't know what will happen after COVID. Another crisis might happen in the next 2 years, 5 years. Yeah, and then build relation with stakeholder. Get out from your office, meet your customer, partner, government, anyone. Yeah, and then then see how the situation is changing, how the situation is evolved, and then have the growth mindset, and then the growth routine. Yeah, again, a growth routine. There are so many growth routine you can find easily. You can go to Google, you can find. So the key takeaways here is the growth mindset leader will survive and grow. Yeah, while the BAU leader will die soon. Because I've seen this. If you are thinking, oh, I know that it's okay, let it be, because maybe it will getting better. But if we not deep dive and then see what happened, and then you are also in the startup mode, then maybe you will die soon. Yeah, so have that growth mindset thinking. Again, the biggest challenge is no playbook for future, but the biggest opportunity is the no playbook for future. So no one have the right formula until you go deep dive and then see what happened, and then have the thinking what will happen in the future. So again, uncertainty is not a problem, uncertainty is not a challenge, but uncertainty is a blessing. Uncertainty is the opportunity. So as a growth leader, as a future leader, we need to bear with this uncertainty and then come up with a good thinking, and then articulate that into the strategy and also tactical plan. This is the quote from Parminder Singh, Chief Digital and Commercial Officer. So that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pak Wasudewan. Yeah. So I actually, make notes on several points from your presentations. I think this is very encouraging that you say uncertainty is a blessing. Actually, I think it also depends on how you see problems. If you see problems as opportunity, then it will be blessing. So I note some points. First is actually we have faced uncertainty not only in this pandemic, but we have faced that during the past global economic events like the Lehman Brothers and also the war between US and China. And the next point that I think is important is also to look at the consumer behavior. So making sure that we put focus on consumer behavior, it actually can drive our business strategy through two framework. I think our favorite framework, the Porter's 5 forces, and also Rahayoe analysis. We also make a good point for us to survive in this uncertainty, like being open-minded and also being agile, Pak. So I think there would be a lot of questions from the audience later on. We can discuss further. But now I want to invite our second speaker, and I think this one is also interesting and close to our heart because I have take a peek into the presentations, because Ibu Indri will talk about the future of work, the tomorrow of work, and also the resilience leader. So I think it's so inspiring because this information is what we need as leaders to manage during this uncertainty. So Ibu Indrijati Rahayoe is the Chief HR Officer for Prudential Life Assurance Indonesia since March 2019. And prior to this, he was the HR Director for Bluebird Group Holding for 3 years. She also had previous career in Unilever and Bayer. Ibu Indri is currently an MBA student at IPMI and obtained her bachelor degree in industrial engineering from ITB. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ibu Indrijati Rahayoe.
Thank you very much, Selvi. Thank you very much for the opportunity from IPMI to for me to share about what actually we are right now going on in terms of the business and in terms of how we really facing the biggest changes that right now we experience as a company. So let me take you through whether you, yeah, is my slide now, can be seen?
Yes,
All right.
it's fine, yeah.
All right, thank you. So when nothing is normal, I think the pictures itself is also giving you an example that, if everyone is very comfortable, walking on the street in the city, but when they are going to hike in the mountains, I think we need to equip ourselves with the new skills, with the new, mentality, and with the new strength, I would say. And that's actually what happens with us right now. After, I think, almost a year, every one of us experiencing the pandemic. So I'm skipping this because Selvi has introduced about myself. So I think just repeating what is the topic of this evening in this webinar is actually that pandemic is creating the VUCA itself: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. But more importantly is the component of the uncertainty itself. Why it is so challenging right now when it comes into uncertainty? I would ask every one of you, is there anyone in this webinar who knows when the pandemic is going to end? No one. Even if most of us knows that the vaccine has been started, and all the good things has been really seen, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we are still not sure how long is the tunnel. So if I look at the last informations from Bloomberg about or Straits Times about how long is going to be the pandemic, it's somehow giving us another uncertainty. Oh, actually, even though the vaccine has been there, but may not necessarily solving all the issues that is coming, in the past 1 year. There was an average of 7 years for globally in average to really finish the vaccinations. Indonesia is estimated as 10 years. Some of the people believe it, some of the people doesn't believe it. It doesn't matter. But for me, what is important is, and for us, it will not end in the next 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 years, but it's still long. So if we look at the economic impact of the pandemic, I think Wasudewan is already giving the explanations about that. I think globally we are impacted, and there was an indications of positive, but whether the positive is the expectations of positives is coming back to the normal way, I think we still have some runway to go into what we call the old normal. And Prof. Aman is already saying that maybe we never go back to the old normal. We need to move on into the new normal. And that's why if you look at what is actually the anticipations of the job exists and of the skills that is required before and after pandemic. There are certain skills, everybody knows there are certain skills that maybe disappear in the next 1 to 3 years because of this pandemic. We all know that right now we are working mostly from remotely from either home or somewhere. And we see the accelerations of the digitalizations that is needed across industry, not just on how to digitalize our business, but it's also how to digitalize ourselves. Because as simple as documentation signatures is no longer something that can be done. We no longer using a physical signatures. Everything has to be in e-doc. Everything, almost everything. So, and most importantly right now, for me coming from the HR background, work is no longer office. Work is what value added that we can give to the customer, to our stakeholders. I'm very glad that Wasudewan, from the first speech, sharing with us about how the business that he is running needs to adapt into the new environment during these pandemic situations. What is very important right now is, do we know exactly the needs of our customers? Because the customer needs may change completely during this pandemic. And I can share with you what happens also in my industry and my company about, the changings of this customer needs. Do we have the customer centricity mindset? Because right now, as what Professor Aman shared about sari roti, they see the needs, the changes of selling sari roti is not in the retail, but delivery directly to the home, because people doesn't go to retail, or maybe go to retail only once a week. Unlike earlier, they can go even one day, 2-3 times on the small retail, or convenience store. So, and what do you have value add that you can do to our customer? Because if you don't have value add, customer now is a very picky, because, if you are unable to make them satisfied and happy, they are going to be easily moving into another customer who serve better or who offer better. So what is very important right now is how we are making our customers stick to us, glue to us. And the stickiness of our customer is actually created by experience. The best experience of customer is what making our customer stick to us. So guys, Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, this is the time for us to wake up. This is a time for us to change completely different, because the old normal never been back. We need to move on into the new normal. Everybody said that this pandemic is reset the world. Who in this world that is not impacted by this pandemic? No one. From all gender, level, economic strata, whatever, what countries, no one is free from the COVID's impact. Now, come back to us. If the world is reset, should we reset too as a person? And how we need to reset? Are we the one who keep on thinking that the past and our old good day is going to be back? Or are we the one who keep on thinking, this is something new? This is, I have to do it differently and completely different from what we've done earlier, and create a new story. So I'm trying to share with you what we are doing in Prudential. Prudential is transforming our business and organizations and also people. You know, life insurance company is the most manual, face-to-face, highly connected between customer and seller or financial advisor. In this case is our insurance agent. The industry is trying to innovate with opening more channels apart from the agent's channel itself, be it the bank channel, be it the micro insurance, be it the online channel. But all the channels created, yes, this is giving an offer to the customers on where they are able to reach or to access insurance. But unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, the biggest contributors of the selling still coming from the agent. And agent never sell virtual. Agent meet customer at least in average 7 times meeting before the deal made, before the policy created. So can you imagine with this pandemic, with the limitations of the face-to-face meeting, with the limitations of event where the agents is able to promote about the needs of insurance, how could they sell? How could we sell? And more importantly, even, we have started the pandemic in March. I have started to work from home mid of March. By that time, we are not allowed to sell virtually by OJK. The OJK regulations to sell virtually was released in mid-May or almost end of May. So can you imagine, since mid-March until mid-May, we don't sell. So that's how, the changes is not just impacting to us. It's just not just impacting to our, the changes.
Ibu Indri, I think we lose your connection, Bu Indri. Maybe hello, Bu Indri. Hello, Ibu. Hello, Bu Indri.
Example of VUCA impact.
Hello, Prof.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay. Maybe colleagues at IPMI, is there anything that we can do to contact Ibu Indri?
Maybe
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Bu Indri, we can hear you now.
I'm using my other, I'm using my other gadget, but I was not able to show my presentation. So the presentation is still there or it's already missing?
It's still here, but I think if my colleagues can help to navigate your slides ya, Bu.
Slide-nya masih ada ya?
Masih, but it's, masih.
Masih, okay. While I'm, bringing, so actually the VPN connections is finished because it has a time, So let me continue. Hopefully I'm able to operate the slide here. Masih ada ya slide-nya? Saya soalnya nggak bisa lihat.
Sekarang slides-nya sudah off, Bu, but we can ask maybe Pak Kurniawan and Ibu Ratna to reshare Ibu Indri slides. So you can explains while the colleagues navigating the slides. Okay, Bu, now the slides are on, yeah?
Okay, so basically, give me a moment because I am connecting it now.
While waiting for Ibu Indri, I think Ibu Indri has given very interesting information. Yeah, I think it also relates with Pak Wasudewan, based back again into what the consumer wants or the consumer behavior, and I think now work is no longer 9 to 5 jobs, yeah, or no longer sitting in the office, sitting in front of the laptop 9 to 5, but it's more on how we can serve our customers better by giving the best experience. So now I want to come back to Ibu Indri. Ibu Indri, are you ready for the next slide, Bu? Okay, while waiting for, yes, Ibu Indri?
So can you see my face too?
Yes, Ibu, we can see you. Welcome back.
Okay, I'm using another gadget while fixing the old gadget. So thank you for make this. So perhaps in the next slide, please. Sorry for the technical hiccup. I forgot that there is a limitations of our lead time for the VPN because it's already on till morning. All right, so while connecting to the VPN, let me share with you. So how to be the winner in this new normal, or in whatever we call it, that we need to change ourselves. So first, I think what is very important is how we are, move on and let go on what is actually all the comfort zone, I would say, comfort zone that we experience in the old normal. We need to really be resilient and ready to change. And what is also very important is that for every one of us, we should unlearn and relearn, because whatever the skill, the capability that we have in the past may not be relevant for the future. As simple as us, and me right now working in the remote setup, speaking with all of you here in the, in the intranet and in front of the laptop instead of, seeing you all is also another new skill that we have to equip ourselves. So adding value and meaning to everything that we do, because we need to make sure that the physical, the office, the job is no longer something that is important, but what is important is our ability to add value and meaning to whatever we do. And most importantly right now is how we are collaborating and innovating of everything we do. Right now, being the single winner is no longer possible. Prudential is the biggest insurance company and we have been 25 years in Indonesia. Are we able to survive ourselves being the biggest? I don't think so. We need to collaborate in order for us to move faster, to give a complete offering. to our customer. So we are collaborating with another companies. In this case, we work with HelloDoc, we work with Tokopedia, we work with OVO, we work with other partners that will make us a complete set and bringing a complete offering to our customer. And that's how we are making or adding value to our product or our services. Next. So in this case, leadership is not about what you like to do. Every one of you, I think this is not the time for us to think about what I like to do. What is needed right now is what we needed to be done. What is needed to be done in these changes, in all the changes that we experience. Next. And I think Selvi earlier also mentions that this is the time where we need a resilient leader. And every one of us has the opportunity to be a resilient leader. Every one of us. Because resilient leaders is the one who think on what is needed to be done and marry them with what is the purpose and why, this is have to be done based on the best of him and the best of the customer and the best of the company. They are also the one who appreciate their own strength and weaknesses and make a bigger impact. Resilience leaders is also have the ability to take a valuable idea from concept into reality. So they are not only the one who, having a brilliant concept, but they are also the one who able to implement this brilliant concept into reality. And more importantly is the one who being true to themselves and the value that they are making around them. So what they do is not just because of them, but what they do is because they want to make a bigger impact around them. They want to change, they want to solve the problems of the customer. Next slide, please. So again, everything starts from the people because we believe that happy people will make our business healthy. With all the pandemic situations, everyone knows that working remotely during this pandemic takes longer time. It creates mental health. The changes of the business, the changes of the strategy will require us to put extra effort because we need to transform our business, we need to transform our people. So everything has to be done extra from whatever we do before. So if any one of us complaining about, I need to work harder, I need to change the strategy, I need to, I supposed to do things, but now I was not able to do things. I think we need to think it differently because this is the time for us to really win our people, make them happy because the happy people will make a happy customer. And happy customer will make a healthy business. This is the time for every business people to think about not just transforming the business, but also bring together and transforming their people so that the business and the people is ready to take up the new challenge during this new normal. Next. So again, I offer to you all, the faster you go, the further ahead you have a look. The more you see, the more you observe, the more you will move faster and further. That's what usually called a helicopter view. Next, and what is more important is that, next slide, every one of us is in this together. But I believe we are strong, we have the power, we have all the ingredients for us to be a winner at the end of this pandemic. So you will never work alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ibu Indri. What a very, interesting and inspiring presentation. So I put several notes here. I think first one is work is no longer office, and perhaps it's no longer 9 to 5 jobs, yeah, Bu. Yeah, the most important is how we serve our customers better, and I think it's relevant to Pak Wasudewan presentation. That we have to give the best experience. And I also note important word here, collaborating. Actually, I like the word very much because I think in this hard of situation, I think we shouldn't think about competing, yeah, Bu, yeah. Instead, we should think about collaborating because all business are struggling. So actually, we have to find the mutual benefits between business entities. So I think it's very important collaborating and innovating, and also you have shared the characters of being resilient leaders. That is a combination of purpose-driven or goals-driven, awareness, versatility, and also presence. And last but not least, happy people, happy customers, and healthy business. So thank you, Ibu Indri. So now I wanna, last but not least, our third speaker, Bapak Izzul Waro. Bapak Izzul Waro is the Director of Service and Development at PT Transjakarta, and Bapak Izzul is currently an MBA student at IPMI. Bapak Izzul has more than 15 years experience in the field of public policy and corporate management, particularly in the transportation, service, and urban planning sectors. Before joining PT Transjakarta, Pak Izzul was the senior advisor at TGUPP and advisor and national coordinator at German International Corporation. Pak Izzul obtained a Master of Engineering from Universitas Indonesia and a Bachelor of Engineering from Universitas Gadjah Mada. So Pak Izzul, the time is yours, but before that, I also want to thank Professor Aman that might want to excuse himself from this webinar. Thank you, Professor Aman, for giving us the welcome remarks. So Pak Izzul, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Selvi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the time for me. And let me share screen first. Okay. Yeah, actually, lucky for me to tell about what happened in Transjakarta, since we know that Pak Wasudewan and Bu Indri tell us so much very good knowledge about how VUCA happens during this pandemic. And of course, even Transjakarta, we also face the same situation that of course, VUCA, as we know, that stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We know from the previous speakers and better that of course we have to adopt this situation for this uncertainty. Let me go through. We know that the business impact from the COVID-19 pandemic give pressure for our business, since Transjakarta is part of the left side business sectors that we feel this pressure so much. We know that due to ILO estimation that almost 200 million workers are laid off because of this outbreak. So yeah, I know that I have to learn from Bu Indri, since she is HR director in many corporates. So how to manage our people happily to serve our customers better in this situation is not easy. So yeah, collaboration is part of is the key from this situation to work each other to make a mutual cooperation in terms of yeah, as Mr. Wasudewan, Pak Wasudewan said that, yeah, of course, pandemic is not a challenge, but pandemic is uncertainty is a blessing. We know that this pandemic may be one time in a century, one time in 100 years. So this is our blessing. We have to make our thought is still positive to face our future and challenging business in the future. And we know that public transportation, part of the hardest situation that we face, since more than 80% respondents of this survey said that they will avoid public transportation. Yeah, they are very not happy, but in the first situation about misinformation about how we manage, how we handle COVID-19 disinfection, etc. Is public transportation is still safe, still secure to use in this situation. So this impact business in our daily life so very hard, and of course we need to think hard how to handle about this. As we know, due to this data, all kind of public transportation are decreasing during last Natal and New Year, Christmas and New Year holidays. Even in ferry or shipment and other land transportation, as well as train and aviation, all of public transportation business are decreasing. Even and also in Transjakarta as well. But of course, since our vision is connecting the life of Jakarta, we have to similarly provide integrated transportation services to bring happiness in the life of Jakarta, even the condition is so bad. Currently, Transjakarta implements policies to prevent spread of COVID-19 based on guidance from the government, both national and provincial government of Jakarta. In the first time of pandemic, during last March maybe, Transjakarta cut off almost 90% of services from 280 routes to be only 13 routes, main corridors in the first round of pandemic. So we have only around 5% of customers, and that area is very hard condition to us. But of course, we have to apply the condition based on this health, safety, environment protocol that ruled by the government. There is no excuse to go forward with this business. This is the data about our passengers, our customers during 2020. Before outbreak, we can reach more than 1 million passengers per day. But during the pandemic, for average, we can reach just maybe currently 380,000 and to 400,000 passengers per day. Yeah, that's the fact of our condition. And one of the fact that we have faced is the capacity of our bus, of our production units, adjusted since the pandemic due to the government protocol by 50% of the total capacity, as well as service schedule. This is the condition that our corporate face, and also the operation schedule is limited. But of course, this is an opportunity for us to grow. Another information about our business in Transjakarta during the pandemic, of course, cost increased, but in other hand, revenue decreased. So cost per customer increased 40%, but yeah, the revenue decreased 50%. This is yeah, the fact that we have faced. Of course, we implement some like digitalization to be speed up and cashless policy. This is some like yeah, we mentioned before, like blessing that we in disguise. We know that Transjakarta is part of manual. In many conditions and many systems, Transjakarta services are still manual. But of course, because of this pandemic, we have to speed up our process due to transformation in technology and digitalization. Health protocol process is mandatory. And then Transjakarta is also committed to implement health protocols for all customers. And then we implement some technology-based. Maybe for some of you, it's not. Yes, it's quite similar, familiar with these protocols. Yeah, we also implement some new policy like provide camera to detect our mass use detection camera, and then temperature detection camera as well in our shelters. So it prevent we try to conduct more convincing services to our customer. So day by day, the numbers of customers increase again. We also regularly make this kind of hand sanitizing for some our production tools like microtrans. This kind of ex-angkot, we know that some of you know that microtrans is transforming from regular angkot before and currently integrated with our services in Transjakarta. And in terms of payment method and ticket purchasing, we also use new technology that may be quite familiar for you, but in terms of Transjakarta is quite new. Before pandemic, we only use like electronic money cards, and for some services we still receive cash payment, but after pandemic, all cash transactions are prohibited. And currently, we introduce our QR system in our apps to help people have a choice in their payment and ticket purchasing. And our some new services for our customers in all shelters are high-speed internet services. By buying QR ticket just got easier at all Transjakarta shelters. It's no unlimited quota for our customers. So, of course, this is a new business opportunity for you if you want to use these services like advertisement, maybe in landing page in our customers is this kind of new business opportunity that we propose to our client. And then we know that current purpose of, but also as social services. Social services preventing civilization's collapse. We know that a developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation. This is the quote from Gustavo Petro. Thank you very much for this opportunity to show you what Transjakarta did during this pandemic and uncertainty condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Izzul. It is very heartbreaking to know that public transport business is really affected by this pandemic and uncertainty. To accelerate some strategic plans. So one of it that I note is on the cashless payment. So actually this uncertainty accelerate on digitalizations at PT Transjakarta. So we will discuss about that session. I would like to invite all the participants to put questions in the chat box, and we will answer the question based on the first 5 questions, and we'll open for more questions if we still have time. So now I would like to look at the question. So the first question is for Pak Wasudewan. So Pak Wasudewan, Harry is here. And Harry is an MBA alumni. So he said that thanks for great presentation and solid business model. So he has one question. For the new car division, how do you differentiate yourself with physical car salesmen? And how do you embed with AI and automation? Where do you get the sustainable revenue stream? Pak Wasudewan, maybe you want to answer this question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Selvi. Pak Rahayoe, I'm trying to answer your question, Pak. So here there are 3 questions. The first one, how do you differentiate ourselves with a physical car salesman? So Auto.com, we are as an integrated solution for the automotive business here. When we talk about the car salesman, for us, they are part of the ecosystem, right? So there's the one who's selling the car to the consumer. They are the one who facing the consumer. So they have a lot of works. They have a lot of database. So we are not competing with them, but we are as the technology enabler. So on this case, we are providing them the lead management system. Because as you know that all these salesmen, usually the car salesmen, they have like, they went into the malls, they have the exhibition in the malls, sometimes they are in the auto show or they are doing canvassing. So they get a lot of database. on our case, we are also passing some database to them. So we create like lead management system, which we train them to use these apps, and then so they can easily do the follow-up, set for the next schedule to do call the customer. They can WhatsApp directly from the apps, and then they can see what happened with all the leads. Because before this, they don't have, most of them, they don't have the apps. So they like to write in their books, in the notes. You can imagine after 10 years become the car salesman, or 5 years become salesman, then you have like 1,000 database. How do you make sure that you know each database, which client already bought last 2 years, and then have the good buying power, which you can approach to sell another car? It's quite difficult. So we are helping. So as I mentioned earlier, we are become of the ecosystem, which we help each of the stakeholder. We are helping the OEM, we are helping the dealers, we are helping the sales, and also we are helping the bank, we are helping the multi-finance with different solutions. And then technology as the enabler. So that's the first question. The second question, how do you embed with AI and automation? This is very good question. When we talk about the technology nowadays, so people like to say AI, people like to say the machine learning and other things. Sometimes people perceive that the AI machine learning is like a robot, right? Or this is something in the future like what we like to see in the movie. For us, it's very simple. We build auto.com and then we put the AI engine inside. So let's say now, Rahayoe, you come to visit auto.com. Then we know that what are you looking at auto.com? Let's say now you're looking at Toyota Fortuner. And then you're looking at the video, you're looking at the specification, you're looking at the pricing, you're looking at the pictures. And then after that, you compare Toyota Fortuner with, let's say, Mitsubishi Pajero Sport. Then you move to Mitsubishi Pajero Sport page. On that page, again, you are looking at the specification and then you compare. After that, you left. And next 3 days, you come back. And then again, you come to Toyota Fortuner page, and then maybe you are trying to make decision. On certain period, we will create like a customer profile and customer scoring. So on this case, Rahayoe, you sold 2 different cars, Pajero Sport and Fortuner. Based on what you see, how many time that you spend on each model, on each page, and then some other criteria, then we come up with the scoring. So for you, the scoring for Fortuner, maybe let's say 7, the scoring for Pajero Sport higher, because you spend more time. So when we go to the OEM, we tell them, hey, Toyota, I have like 10,000 customers who already spend 1 hour looking at your page, but I believe that most of them have not come to your dealers. So I have like 10,000 customers, which I have scored 7, but 30% of them have 9 score for, let's say, Pajero Sport or some other brand. Do you want to increase the scoring of this customer? If yes, then we can create like a campaign. We can send notification to the customer, or we can create a campaign when the next day this customer come again. Then he or she will see, let's say, promo khusus minggu ini, discount 30 juta, 50 juta. So that's what we call AI. So how we embed with the customer behavior to help the OEM, to help the dealers, to make sure that they have the right campaign. It's not about to put in the billboard, you spend 2 billion in front of Pondok Indah Mall, then you don't know how many people are seeing your advertisement, and then you cannot measure the return on investment, but that's it. I just want to make sure that I have giant billboard in the Perempatan Pondok Indah, but I don't know how to measure the campaign. So that era already gone. It will die soon. Yeah, unless you equip with the technology that you can measure, and then you can manage the customer who are seeing the advertisement come to your dealers do walk-in or at least do call-in. So now is the days when everything should be measured. Yeah, so that's why AI, we built the AI inside our website to make sure that we can create good value for our client. The third question is, where do you get the sustainable revenue stream? So we are the two-sided platform. Yeah, when I say two-sided, we have the customer, the consumer, which we are not monetizing at all. This is the customer who will come to our website to see the information about the car, the motorbike, and others, which this is one side. We are not monetizing. And then the other side, we have the OEMs, what we call again pemegang merek. We have the dealers, we have the banks, we have the sales dealers. This is the one we monetize. So each of them, we have different business model. For OEMs, we are selling the event, we are selling the space, we are selling the database based on the scoring. And then we can create campaign, what we call retargeting and then other things. For the dealers, it's very clear, they need database, people who visit our website, and then they need to make sure that they can call this customer to invite them to the dealers. Yeah, so there are several business models that we have with our customer. For the consumer, it's free. This is the two-sided platform. I hope that I could answer all the three questions, yeah, Pak Heri.
Thank you very much, Pak Wasudewan. So the next question is actually for Ibu Indri. Ibu Indri, from your HR expertise, how do you overcome hassle in recruiting people online? Do you have any secret recipe?
Thank you very much, Selvi. Thank you very much for the questions. And I'm very sorry for the disconnections. Actually, I'm missing some of the slides that actually containing a business presentations, not just an HR. So if I'm allowed to present, then I will give a better explanations about what is actually currently undergoing in Prudential with this transformation. But before I come into the equations, let me continue the presentations that is disconnected earlier after this slide, which is not available slide of the meeting. So this is what is happening in Prudential. So we think with this new era, what is the most important actually in helping Indonesians to be healthier and wealthier. Of course, with all the pandemics that we have, who is the most important or the most functions in all the health institutions that is able to integrate everything together? So we have a hospital, we have a apothec, we have a doctor, we have health, gym, whatever that is available. We have health applications here who are going to be the integrators of everything into one. The questions comes to Prudential at that time. And we think that integrating all of this into one in this pandemic is going to provide the value for the customer. So that's why we are creating what we call PULSE. PULSE is a health ecosystem that is created and launched in February last year. And it is going to be the biggest health ecosystem that Prudential is offering, not just for the customer, but for the entire community in Indonesia. So in the health ecosystems, what we call PULSE, we offer the health assessment checker. So everyone was very hesitant to go to the hospital. But when you feel dizzy, you feel headache, you don't want to meet the doctor, there is a hello doc. But before you are even meeting the doctors, you are able to do the symptom checker. So what do you eat, etc., blah, 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 so that you are able to finally, conclude from the AI that we are using with the Babylon. What is actually, is it because you are, less eating, or is it because you are over exercising? Is it because of what that makes you dizzy or makes you really feeling, headache? That is what is, we are building in our applications that is called PAS. Apart from that, we are also offering the whole complete of the health ecosystem itself, meaning that I believe, in the old time, every one of you doing the health MCU every year, but whether one MCU and another is integrated, and whether that is also integrated with the activity that you have done, for example, doing the running, doing the exercise in the gym, etc., and whether this is going to improve your health, and whether this is going to, whether what you are eating is going to also improve your health. So all of those having the opportunity to be integrated, so that PAS is going to be the applications that you will stay connected every time, every day. So, with this distance limitations that we have during this pandemics, actually having everything transactions are accessible in online is going to be what is currently we are working on. So even though we are still having a lot of demands to the agency, but agency is no longer have to come to the, and meet the customer. They are able to offer everything in the system in PAS with all the information, so that customer is able to internalize, to integrate, or to digest what they need before they make a decisions to buy our insurance. And if they need questions, or if they need help from the agency or from the banker or from whoever the partner that they trust, they can connect and they can call from this application. So that's what we are trying to build into the ecosystem. And in these ecosystems also, we built one of the Sharia ecosystem as well, because we understand in Indonesia currently Sharia is one of the biggest driver for the economy in Indonesia. Currently, we don't have yet a platform who really integrate all the Sharia needs into one place, be it shopping Sharia, traveling Sharia, whatever Sharia. We don't have yet that. So this is going to be also one of the biggest Sharia ecosystem that we are offering in PAS, because Prudential is also one of the biggest Sharia insurance right now in the market. So again, I'm sharing, we will not, it possible to develop this ourselves. Collaborations with Tokopedia, OVO, Halodoc, and Babylon is what we are working right now. And in order to make that happen, it is not just a business decisions or changes in the business. We need to also change the organizations and the way we do the business. 25 years in a conventional, we are not some, a company that Wasudewan is building. Perhaps how many years Wasudewan? Must be less than 10 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. We've been 25 years in Indonesia, and we've been almost 200 years in the world. So it is not going to be easy for us to change from what everybody said, a conventional company, into an agile organizations, and working in agile and similar like the startup that Wasudewan is right now, operating. So we not just doing the agile and learning what is Kanban, Scrum, Tribes, Squad, whatever. We need to also being an agile on how to change the mindset of everybody in the company to be more customer centricity, to have the speed and fast in innovations and in collaborations and engagements. So silo is one of the biggest enemy of us in the conventional organizations, in order for us to move faster and to have the best innovations in the company. Believe me that in Prudential, we are doing what we call, we call it hot. Actually is like a hack, not hack rank. What you call the innovations in the IT is almost every month we do it. So this is the way we are describing our organization. So from being, the conventional organizations with the structures, now we are 2,000 of employees, but around 700 to 800 of our people is currently working in the agile mode. Means there is no structures, but they are in squad and tribes. And we have 17 tribes that is currently available in the company, but 2021 is going to be moving even bigger tribes. And this is not easy. You know, I believe a unicorn like perhaps Gojek, Traveloka, whoever is, you know, in the company or exists in the business less than 10 years, is starting from the startup that is mobile, that is agile, that is fast, that can make decisions faster and almost every day. But in a certain size and a certain complexity, they need to have an establishment. And I also believe for the company like Prudential, who has been 25 years in Indonesia with all the structure, we call it prudent. Why we say prudent? Because everything has to be prudent. So with that prudence value of Prudential, and we need to move ourselves into an agile organizations, move fast as the startup, will not be easy. Will not be easy. We need to change almost everything, and most importantly, change our mindset and brain, and change our leadership style. So again, I believe that there should be an equilibrium between the way we are running a startup in a certain level and certain size, and the way we are running a conventional business who has been more than 10 years in the business and needs to move and change themselves to be faster, to be more innovative, and to be more customer centricity. So that's the way how I translate, you know, the missing slides. Sorry for this. And to get back to questions from Harry on how I am dealing with the recruitment, I think everything is going to be not easy in the first time, but I believe everyone now is really very comfortable to even interview over the Zoom, over Teams, and we are doing some even onboarding over the Teams. Can you imagine? We call it coronials in the company. We call it coronials. It's actually all the new joiner that never seen the office, because we've been more than 10 months, almost 1 year working from home. We call it coronials generations who never seen their friend, never seen their team, never seen their office, but they're working for us, and we want them to engage and to be part of the company. That's, I think, the biggest challenge right now. It's not just a recruitment, but it is how to build a culture where you never be physically together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bu Indri. So because we are running out of time, so I have one last question. This is for Pak Izzul, the question. This is from Bagawan Sunaryono, BBA student from IPMI. His question is, since Transjakarta covered a lot of routes throughout Jakarta, how do you handle and monitor every single route when, for example, there is a sudden event? Like several routes have to be diverted due to flooding, construction works, and etc. So, Pak Izzul, maybe sharp and brief answers for this one. Thank you very much, Pak Izzul.
Thank you, Bu Selvi, and thank you, Mr. Bagawan Sunaryono. Yeah, thanks for the question. And actually, this is very, the heart of Transjakarta system works. How do we handle our every routes that should be maintained with the certain level? Yeah, of course, some incident event or unpredictable situation happen in the field. So we already installed CCTV, GPS in all our shelters and also almost all bases. So we integrate all information in our command center. We call it command center in our head office in Cawang area. If some of you want to see, please come to and learn together with us how we handle our fleets in so many. We have almost 4,000 fleets, less than maybe Bluebird system in Bu Indri has before. Yeah? And of course, we also coordinate with local authorities and police department as well to share any information regarding this unpredictable condition in the field. This is very situational condition, like maybe mass demonstration, like flooding, and then or any so many conditions can happen in the field. So this our risk management system is part of our mandatory system that we have to tell to our drivers, tell to our frontliners in shelters, in bus, like bus attendant and etc., how to handle the emergency situation. For some time, we have a unique condition like this we have experience like our customers have our pregnant customer she get his baby in our fleet. This condition is can happen anytime, and we already have this experience. So we coordinate with like a health agency, with a local hospital, how to handle this, something like that. And during maybe in 2017, like our shelter in Kampung Melayu has been bombed by terrorists. At that time, that we coordinate with police department so closely. We check all CCTV surround the area to identify and to handle the situation clear and clean again. Something like that that we already did in our operational and risk management in the field.
Yeah.
Thank you, Selvi.
Thank you very much, Pak Izzul. So we are at the end of the webinar. Just a short summary. So pandemic and uncertainty are here with us. We know actually when it will finish. But to excel, not only to survive, but to excel in this uncertainty, we need to change our mindset and see it as opportunities to shift the business strategy and to accelerate digitalization by focusing on consumer behavior and having collaboration to achieve mutual goals. I also want to inform that IPMI has early bird program. So we have 15% tuition fee deduction for IPMI MBA program intake in March 2021. So do not wait any much longer. Just contact our admission team and enroll yourself. So thank you for all participants, speakers, and IPMI management team for joining us tonight. See you again in the next sharing session. Thank you and good evening.
Yeah, thank you, Bu.
Thank you for all.
Thank you for the good sharing. Thank you.
Thank you for the sharing. Nice session.
I think we can take a photo first before
Oh yeah,
we end.
photo. Take
Sure,
a picture.
sorry, I forgot. Please stay because we're going to take a photo. Pak Kurniawan, will you take the picture, Pak?
Okay, first page 1. Okay, second page, please open your video, please.
Yes, please open your video.
Oke, third page.
Berapa page? Oh, we have 4 pages.
4 pages.
Okay. One more.
Okay, and the next page 4. Oke, thank you Bapak Ibu sekalian.
Thank you, Indri. Thank you, Selvi.
Everyone.
Thank you, Wasudewan and Kak Izzul.
Thank you, Desirka.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Sama.
Thank you, Bu. Good evening.
Thanks.
Terima kasih.